Fall has always been my favorite season to build and sell woodworking projects. Well, today I'm going to show you how to build my favorite fall projects for woodworkers. These things are easy to make, super profitable, and you don't have to have $40,000 worth of tools to make them. This video is sponsored by nobody. Bearded Viking Woodworks. Our first project just screams fall decor, and that's these pumpkins. Super easy project and super profitable and super popular. All you need for this is one 2x4x8. You're gonna want to cut 8 of them to 10 inches and 1 of them to 13 inches. The next thing we're going to do is turn our miter to a 30-degree miter, and I'm going to come in about 1 inch and cut all 4 sides on 2 of my pieces that are 10 inches. And I'm going to make a little mark right there on my deck so I can batch these out. And this should look something like this. On the rest of your 10-inch pieces, you just want to cut that angle on one side. So the rest of your pieces should look like this. Now what you want to do is take your 6 pieces that have that angle on one side and joint the opposite edge to where you get a nice glue surface, because we're going to glue these up. We'll glue up 2 pair of 2, and then the third glue up will include our 13-inch piece. So you also want to take your 13-inch piece and joint both edges of that piece. If you don't have a joiner, no worries. You can take care of that at your table saw. Now you just want to take and add a dab of glue. And we'll clean up that squeeze out in just a minute. Alright, we'll set these to the side and let them dry. Did you hit that like button yet? Don't forget, hit that like button. It really helps us fight the algorithm. While that's drying, I want to tell you about our YouTube memberships. There are 3 levels that you can choose from to join: Stuck on Sawdust, Chisel Champs, and Bearded Viking Gang. If you want to help support the channel, take a look at the 3 levels and choose today. Skull. Now that we've got these dry, we'll take them out the clamps. We're going to sand them down with some 80 grit and get them sanded ultimately to 150. Now you want to mark center of your center piece here, and we've got 10 1/4, so we'll go 5 1/8, and just mark the very top so you can see it. And we're going to line up the center of these 2 glued up pieces with that mark. And what we're going to do with our 2 pieces that are glued together, we're going to screw these to the centerpiece with some 2.5-inch screws. And the only piece that will be glued on will be our last 2x4. And you want to line up these pieces with that mark you made, and be sure that you screw right toward the center of this piece so our 2x4 that goes on the outside will cover it. And we'll add 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom. And then we'll do the same thing with the back side. And we'll take and add a dab of glue and just eyeball these for center. Spin that around and add a dab of glue to this side. Give it a little rub back and forth. A little rub-a-dub-dub. And we'll take and add some clamps. Alright, we're going to let this dry and I'll meet you back here. Do you have kids, or maybe grandkids, or maybe a younger brother and sister? This project is an awesome family-friendly project for the holidays. Recently, I found out that white pumpkins were a thing. Well, what I'm gonna do is leave this one unfinished, but stain the very top of the stem. A project that always does well for my shop in the fall is this wall planner. This is another easy to make, big profit project. And there is all sorts of space that we can put on it. All you need for this project is some pieces of 1x6. This piece is 16 inches in length, and we're gonna keep it at 16. We're gonna take this piece of 2x4 and rip some 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch strips. Now on the back side of our 1x6, we're gonna come in about 1 inch on either side and 1 inch up from the bottom. Now take and cut 2 of those 3/4 inch pieces to 14.5. These strips are gonna be nailed right up against that 1 inch mark we made and 1 inch from the bottom. So we'll add that glue. And we're gonna pop a Brad in his ass. Add that glue. Now just take your additional piece you ripped down, butt into that piece and make a little tick mark. Cut that at your miter box. And add a dab of glue. Pop a Brad in his ass. Now when it comes to mounting this, there's 1 or 2 things you can do. You can either get those hooks and mount those to the back here and hang it on the wall that way, or what I like to do is just take a little piece of 3/4 and cut a 45-degree bevel on it and have it act as a French cleat. Let me demonstrate. So I'll just take a piece that is the same width as my back here and cut a 45-degree bevel on both ends of this, and then I'll just cut 1.5 inches from the long point on both of these. We'll come down 10 inches and add a dab of glue and pop a Brad in his ass. And then just find the spot you want it to hang and install the second half of your French cleat on that stud. And voila. And just for demonstration purposes, it'll look something like this. Now, the reason why I nailed my strips back here 1 inch in is because I'm gonna add some value to this and run some strip lighting across each strip. That way it gives it a nice lighting effect. And then when you put your plant in the top, oh man, it's the best effect ever. Now, y'all know I saved the best for the last for this video. And we can't have a fall edition video without building these lanterns. The profit potential for these is astronomical, out of this world, crazy. But before we get to that, let me show you how to build them. You're gonna need at least 2 1x6 that are 13 inches long. Cut 2 of those 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. With our other 1x6, we'll rip 4 pieces to 3/4 of an inch. with the remaining piece ripped to at 1 inch, and it won't hurt to have a little extra. We're going to resaw these to a 1/2 inch at the bandsaw, or you can do it at the table saw if you don't have a bandsaw. Now take a piece of 1 inch stock and cut it 4.5 to 4.5. And for those 4 strips we ripped to 3/4, we'll get those cut to 12.5 inches. Once you have your stock cut, it's time to put this thing together. Add a dab of glue. Line it up flush with the outside and the side. And pop a Brad in his ass. Add a dab of glue. Make sure you keep them all flush with the corners. Beautiful. Now let's go ahead and get our side pieces cut, and we'll just butt the inside of one and mark the inside of the other. And we'll need 8 total of this number cut. This may vary for the one that you're building, so take the time to mark it out accurately. All right, and let's go ahead and get these glued in. And they're going to inset off of the side by about 1/4 inch. That way it gives a little bit of depth to the piece. Add a dab of glue. And these will be glued on the bottom and the top. All right, so once you get all that glued together, I'm going to link in the description to this rope that I have here. And we're going to take our top and make a notch right through the center of it, about the thickness of the rope, because we're going to wind up epoxying the rope into that notch, creating that handle. Let me demonstrate. So our rope thickness is 1/2 inch in diameter. So we'll set our table saw to right over 1/2 inch, and our depth will be over 1/2 inch slightly as well. Mark center of our piece and mark 1/4 inch on either side of that center mark. Just clean up those little frays on the inside there. Let's give our rope a test fit. Oh yeah, that is perfect. That's exactly what you want right there. That couldn't have worked out better. Now take your rope and form a would-be handle. Just make sure not to cut towards yourself. And I've got some 2-part epoxy here, and it's Gorilla Glue brand. And I'm just gonna get this epoxied in halfway. Split it 1/2 and 1/2. I'm just adding some thin CA glue just to help out. Whoa. That's pretty cool. We'll add a dab of glue. Eyeball it for center and pop a Brad in his ass. And this rope is that type of rope that you can form the handle pretty well. So voila, you have yourself a very profitable lantern. Let's go take a look at the price that they're getting for these. So I want y'all to check out how much they're selling 3 of these lanterns for. They're 3 different sizes, but check this out. Holy cow! That's a lot of money. Now, for the ones I would build in post, man, you give me 50 bucks a piece, we're in the game. That's a little crazy to me, but 50 bucks for one of these, I mean, you can't beat that. I got the cost at $6 to build one of these. That's nothing. Now for that wall planter, that thing is going for $40. That again is a little bit high on my end. I would feel comfortable charging about $28 to $35 for one of mine. And as far as that badass pumpkin, you're looking at about 30 bucks. These things are profitable, badass, and fun to build. That does it for this video on fall edition woodworking. However, I've got plenty more locked and loaded in the barrel, ready to go. Until next time, you know what to do. Like this video, comment on this video, and share this content. Make some sawdust. Scud.